So, yo estudié español en el colegio y la última vez que yo presenté en español fue cuando yo estuve en la universidad y entonces les pido sus paciencia, pero tengo slides en español y en inglés y espero que I hope this will be helpful. So anyway, so la esquema bilingüe es la introducción a Proyecto Jupyter, la motivación para el Jupyter Lab, el lanzamiento de la serie beta y más, y hablar en inglés and en español, so I'm going to be switching between both, and this is not easy. No es tan fácil, pero voy a tratar. Okay, so I said I'll introduce Project Jupyter. I'm going to explain the motivation for Jupyter Lab and the beta release series and more. And then in English, tenemos un demo con Binder. Hablo de extensiones. I'm going to talk about extensions y cómo contribuir a desarrollar. So how can one contribute to Project Jupyter? And as I said earlier, in English, I'm going to do the demo. I'm glad you all have computers because you actually can do the demo with me at the same time. So this is why this is a workshop. I'm going to talk a little bit about extensions and how to contribute to Jupyter Lab. Okay. So, ¿qué es Proyecto Jupyter? What's Project Jupyter? So, muchas personas piensan que somos una empresa. No somos una empresa. We are actually a organization that's a nonprofit organization. Oh, I have like a live translator? I didn't realize that. You have that? Oh, okay, never mind. And so we actually are a nonprofit. We were born out of the Python project in 2014. So this is kind of from our website. This is our governance page on Project Jupyter's governance repo. So you can see this is how we govern ourselves. So we're not actually a company. A lot of people think we're a company. We're not. A lot of people think we're only Python. We're más de Python. So we have many kernels. So tenemos muchos núcleos como Fortran, como SAS, como Julia. Y también se puede crear un kernel. We have documentation in English on how to create your own kernel if you want to be able to make your own kernel. And ese es un blog post de un kernel de C++ que se llama Suscling. And so this is a blog post that was recently written. As you can see, tenemos un GIF. Es un GIF de Jupyter and C++. This is a GIF of Jupyter and C++. So you can see they're writing C++. And actually we have more than 2 projects. So we have más de 2 proyectos de ePython y el notebook. So this is Project Jupyter. This is ePython, Jupyter Widgets, Jupyter Hub, y Jupyter Lab. So esos son más de 2 proyectos. So we see here, it says Project Jupyter exists to develop open source software, open standards, and services for interactive computing. And so, as you can see, we have lots of different things going on. So I'm going to talk about the motivation for Jupyter Lab, right? Like, ¿por qué hacemos la Jupyter Lab, right? So tenemos estos bloques de construcción. No sé, I don't know if like building blocks is the right analogy, but we have this. Tenemos hablamos sobre bloques de construcción. I don't know if this actually. No sé if this works, but tenemos el explorador de archivos, notebooks, el emulador de terminal, el editor de texto, el kernel y la salida. And so we have these like building blocks for interactive computing, right? You've seen these before: the file browser, notebooks, terminal, editor, kernel, and output. And Jupyter Clásico, esos bloques están separados. So these blocks are separate. They don't talk to each other, right? They're separate blocks. Pero en Jupyter Lab, esta es una experiencia integrada. Entonces, estos bloques hablan con ellos. They talk to each other, right? These different blocks, we can actually work together, right? So, as I said earlier, podemos trabajar con estos bloques en una manera flexible e integrada. And so we can work with these blocks in a flexible and integrated manner. Tenemos desarrollo moderno de JavaScript con empaque de NPM, NPM, TypeScript y nuestra biblioteca nueva Forbe.js. So we have a modern JavaScript development with NPM, TypeScript, and a new library we've created for Jupyter Lab called Forbe.js. Tenemos una separación de modelo y vista y de API privado y API público. So we have the separation of the model and view, and we have public and private APIs. Este es totalmente extensible, so this is fully extensible. Queremos que Jupyter Lab tiene rendimiento alto y enfoque de diseño, so it's focused in design and it's high performance. So, entonces, hablamos de la serie beta y más. So we're going to talk about the beta series and more. So, la serie beta está listo para uso diario, so you can use it now. Este es el sitio. So that's the website you can use. La serie beta es más de 3 años de desarrollo, so we have done more than 3 years of development. Tenemos 100 contribuyentes, so we have 100 contributors, y más de 500 componentes, 50 components, and 2,000 lanzamientos, which is releases in Python and NPM. Y el API para extender Jupyter Lab continúe evolver, so the Jupyter Lab API is going to continue to evolve. Tenemos un sitio de read the docs que se llama jupyterlab.readthedocs.io. Comentario por GitHub issues está apreciado, so we appreciate GitHub issues from anybody. We will try to accept comments in Spanish. So if anybody has any sort of questions or anything, let us know. Versión 1.0. So we're going to talk about version 1.0. Está esperado en 2018, so it's expected in 2018. Estabilizará el API de extensiones. So we're going to stabilize the extension API. And we plan to retire the classic notebook. So if anybody has any questions about that, let us know. So now this is where I'm going to be a little more comfortable and try to talk a little bit in English. So we have a demo with Binder. And esa demo usa cuatro proyectos, so we have 4 projects involved. The first, obviously, is Jupyter Lab. And the second, obviously, is Binder. And the thing that makes this all possible is we have some projects called Repo to Docker, which basically takes a GitHub repo and converts it into a Docker file, which allows all this to happen. Under the hood, there is our project Jupyter Hub, which basically allows everybody to have access to the same Jupyter instance. So everybody can basically use it all together. And basically what this means then is that you can use Jupyter Hub with Jupyter Lab. That's something that's very important to us. Okay, so now we're gonna all go through the demo together. So if you go to this website, and I'm gonna go with you guys, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. And I'm going to go to Jupyter Lab. You guys can see me. So is everyone? Okay. So it's github.com/JupyterLab/JupyterLab. Use those? No? Use those? Okay. Okay. So we all see this, the red button? Okay. So, tres, dos, uno. We're going to press the button. Okay. Y esperamos. So now we're waiting for the demo to go. Okay. Okay. So este es Jupyter Lab. Who has access to Jupyter? Are we all on the same page? Good? Okay. Okay. Is everybody good? Okay. So this is Jupyter Lab. And who's familiar with the Jupyter Notebook? Okay. So this is your Jupyter Notebook, right? This is our old friend, right? This is nothing new. And so we have full support for Jupyter Notebooks, right? So we can run a Jupyter Notebook, right? I can just go to run all cells, right? This is a familiar button. And we now have everything that we had before. So this is our notebook about the Lorentz differential equations, and this is a Jupyter widget. So we can play with the widget as we used to do. Right, so I can go like this. I can go like this. Right, I can move things around. Okay. But now I can let's see, create view for output. So what we've noticed here is what's new that you haven't seen before is actually this main area is actually very modular. So this is new, right? Before we couldn't necessarily separate out the output, right? So in this widget, we can actually, if we do, so in order for anybody to do this, right? I right click and I click create new view from output, right? Are people able to figure out how to do that? So now we can actually like see this separately, right? So we can follow along, right, and be able to work with this separately. So this is new for us. And in fact, the really exciting part is I can move this here, right, if I don't want to see this anymore, right? And let's say, for example, I want to be able to understand this better. So what I can do now is I actually can put this anywhere I want. So let's say, for example, I can actually do this, let's see, I can do this like that, right? So I can move these around any way I want, right? Any blocks in this main area, we can basically arrange however is convenient. Okay, so another thing that people have asked for a lot, if you've worked with a notebook, is that maybe you work through something and you say, like, this is a little, this is disorganized, I want to clean this up a bit, right? We can basically move any of these notebook cells. So I can take this cell, I can click and drag it over there. So that can go over here, right? I can basically rearrange any of these cells however I want, right? So you see that on your machines, so you can just move any of these pieces and parts wherever. So those are two of some of the main features you'll see with the notebook, right? That's pretty exciting. The other thing that we've introduced is I'm going to click this button on the corner. So this is the new button, right? This little button on the corner. And I'm going to create, actually I don't even need to do that. I can right click and I can create this new console from Notebook. So if you've used IPython before, right, you've seen that there's this thing and this is IPython, and then this thing, this is the notebook, right? But these things don't talk, right? Okay. I have recreated this image with the workspace that was in here in this IPython console. I did not have to re-import anything. Everybody's there, all the variables are there, all the libraries are there, which is huge, right? Because before we had to recreate everything up to where we were. But now we can just write anything, right? So let's say I want to do this. There, right? So I can just write anything, and all of this is referencing what's going on here, which is really important if you want to do anything, you know, scratching or just kind of like thinking through things. Yes? Yes, it's a two-way street, right? So this technically is a two-way street. So let's say, right, let's try this. I'm going to do this again. So this all talks to each other, right? So like I can write something here, that goes here, right? Okay, so all of this is pretty nice, right? Most people are going to probably use these things. So there's obviously more that we can do to make the lives of scientists easier. So let's look at some other things, right? Okay. So one thing that's really important is to see your data, right? So this thing is, I don't remember how large this CSV is, but it's actually not small. And hopefully it'll load, but technically we should have, let me get a smaller one actually. Let me just start with the simpler case. So here's the IRIS data set. Right? There's a data viewer. I have a delimiter, right? I can actually, we have for column, semicolon, tab delimiters, right? And I'm going to try to open the other one now. Demo. I'm going to let that thing think. back to data. We can actually view other kinds of data. So for example, you want to see a picture. There's a picture, that's new. This is a picture from the Hubble telescope. You want to see a GeoJSON? There's a GeoJSON. So we have native rendering of, or actually this is an extension, but with extensions you can actually render GeoJSON. So we take simple GeoJSONs. And if you want to prove this, if you want me to prove that this is a JSON, there's the GeoJSON, right? So that's your GeoJSON. Has anyone worked with Vega Lite? Anybody familiar with Vega Lite? Vega? Okay, Vega Lite and Vega are JavaScript libraries like D3. So they're used for data visualization, and they also take a JSON format. So this is the plot rendered in Vega Lite. And this is the JSON. So now we also have JSON rendering. So, right, this is the JSON. And again, I can move this around. So I'm going to kill this, kill that, kill that. Oh look, it's done. It's finally loaded. So this thing is our data set. I think it's a transportation data set. I actually don't remember, but it's really big. So we just can keep going. I can just keep scrolling. Like this is really smooth, right? I mean I can speed this up, right? So if I want to speed this up, right? Really, really fast. You don't necessarily see things this fast with, something like Excel. And so if you work with CSV files, right there, you can just zoom right through it. The only thing is it might take a little bit of time to load. So those are some different file type renderers we have in JupyterLab. Another thing that we can talk about, I'm just going to try to close this. Closed. Is it closing? Oh, okay. Okay. For some reason, I've lost my connection, but okay. So another thing that we can talk about actually is, does anybody see the FASTA file in the data folder? If you go to data, you see this like multicolored little dot. Zika, yes. So this is a genomics file that's from called a FASTA file, and this is very popular with people who use genomics data. So this was recently created by some colleagues of mine in an afternoon, right? So you can basically then render any kind of data, right? So this is all genes, right? And so you can basically create any single kind of renderer you want. You want to be able to make something, you can make it, right? Because we allow people to be able to extend JupyterLab however they want. And that's something that was really important to us because it was really challenging for people to be able to make JupyterLab suit their own needs. Another simple thing I forgot to mention is Markdown, right? So this is a typical text editor, right? Nothing new, nothing exciting. But now we have Markdown rendering, right? So this, again, since we have a connection between the two, right, is then able to be edited live. Right? Here and here. Right, so you change one file, the other file now updates. So Another thing we also have access to is to render. We also can render YAML. That's also can be useful. So hopefully this gives you an idea of the kinds of things you can do with JupyterLab. Again, you guys are all able to use it on your computer. You can download it, and it's basically ready for daily use. You want to go to our documentation. We have the website jupyterlab.readthedocs.io. And this goes through a lot of the similar stuff. This try it on binder link is basically the link I just showed you, right? And it goes through a lot of the similar stuff that we went through. So, for example, we talked about, let's see, the interface. And it shows a lot of the things that we just talked about, right? This is the same data. So if you have any questions about how to use it, we have lots of documentation in English. Oh, actually, it's sorry, the CSV I just opened is 1.2 million rows. So yeah, you can, it's just bigger than Excel. You can just zoom away. The biggest thing that it takes is waiting. And again, the other thing I want to mention is, so let's say you have some sort of crazy environment, right? So go back to this, right? Actually, let's go back to demo. I mean, we have other notebooks in here too. I mean, like, so for example, you can kind of see how we could use other kinds of data. This is like a simple example with pandas, which is a common data analysis library, right? And let's say I have like a really crazy workspace, right? Let's say it looks like this, right? And I want to focus on one thing. I can click View, and I can go to single document mode, and I can focus myself. So that's like a simple thing that you might want to do. And then I can just switch back, right? So if I can do, go back, I go back to where I was. So that's just a simple thing that's pretty useful. So this is, sorry, yes?
How about slideshows?
So slides are, I think, something that we are thinking about working. Yeah, Rise is I think is not, I don't think Rise is entirely ready with the extension. It's close. That is in development.
Because I need to use the classic?
Yes. Yes, I think Rise is almost there.
You use Rise for slideshows now? R-I-S.
We have a library called Rise, which is common with Jupyter Notebook. And that's commonly what people use if they want to use notebooks and slides. We are creating an extension for JupyterLab that allows people to work with slides that's kind of built over the ideas around the Rise library, and that's, I think, almost ready. It's not ready yet.
So please do not close the classic notebook because I need the slideshows.
Oh, no. We will not retire anything anytime soon. Don't worry. Like, we have lots of time before you need to say goodbye to your, yeah.
Years.
So don't worry about that. Okay. Yes. Please also. There is no max, really. We have a demo. Let me show you actually the demo. Let me go find it. So I'm going to go put, yeah. Yeah, sorry? Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to go show you a billion row example. Give me a minute. So I'm going to go to our example. Where is this in? Docs? Oh, okay. Sample. Okay. So that was our Phosphor.js. This is a trillion rows, right? Trillion rows, trillion comments. See there, and there. Right, and to keep us honest, I think it's randomly changing over time. So this is all changing, right? So this is integral to our Phosphor.js library, which is the JavaScript library that this is all built off of. So you guys, if you want to build anything with Phosphor.js, this is something that it comes straight out of the box with. So yeah, just have at it. Yep.
Can I run on trillion rows on my PC?
I mean, it's more about your machine. If your machine can run it, if it can fit in memory for you, then you can do it. Okay. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of partners. Carol's at Cal Poly. It's being used at Cal Poly right now. We do a lot of work with UC Berkeley. Berkeley's an obvious one. I don't know. I mean, are they using Jupyter Lab now?
They're doing Jupyter Hub. So,
They're-
University of Illinois, I know you're working with academic departments mostly. Is anything from research computing to academic, like founding?
So we work with lots of universities. So I mean, if you have any sort of like research or anything, you know. Okay. Okay. And so please feel free to ask questions. Like this time is mostly for you. Like this talk has existed in many different venues, and I've already made a fool of myself with not being able to speak Spanish well. So please, like, let's have a conversation.
Can you show me again how do you open the iPad and console in the notebooks?
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's do this again. Okay. So we're gonna take a different notebook, right? And we're gonna do this in a different one. So let's review. So we're gonna close this thing. And so this is pandas, right? And I'm going to, I'm just gonna run this to make sure I'm just gonna make sure that this is open, right? I'm just setting up our data. And then I'm gonna go right click, and I'm gonna click new console for notebook, right? And let's say, so I'm gonna do this thing again. Okay, so there it is, right? So I just imported a data set called planets, and I wanted the tail of the planets. I just called the tail method on the data frame, and there it is. Right, so you can kind of work between the two. Also, for more advanced users, let's say you have shortcuts, right? You have settings, right? Some people really love settings. This is the settings editor, right? So this is your keyboard shortcuts, right? This is similar to what you would see with some other means of like editing your shortcuts. So if you wanted to stay with your keyboard the whole time, you got it. And then if you really love a certain key map, we have Sublime, Vim, and Emacs, right? So if you want to be able to work with any of those, you have that right there. Sorry? You love it? Oh yeah, we also have a dark theme. So you want to, my Vim isn't, or Vmax actually is okay, so I'm not going to show it off, but you can use that, right? So you can pick any single one, and you can navigate in the text editor or in any of these things however you want. And again, if you want to customize it, we give you the ability to do that. Okay, so I'm probably going to start talking about extensions. So I'm going to go back to my slides. Okay, so extensions are in the demo that we've just used. And we have a GitHub topic called Jupyter Lab -extension, right? I think right now there are 18 extensions available on GitHub. If anybody wants to make your own, like, please feel free to use that. Again, this is, as I said earlier, like the API is changing, so be ready and willing to make changes as we make changes. But that's certainly coming along. These are some of the extensions we installed, and in order to do that, right, we just called Jupyter Lab extension install, and then we do the name. And in this, we just built it at the end, so we just put the no build flags in order to keep it quick. You can find more details about this in our documentation. Again, and as I say here, right, the developer guide explicitly says, like, be careful, because this is going to change over time, and gives you instructions on how to do that. And we have a nice example of how to make an XKCD extension based on one of our cookie cutters. So we have cookie cutters in TypeScript and JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript or TypeScript, you can do this on your own. Yeah, so it kind of walks you through the whole steps. And then I think that he has even a repo to do it. Let me actually try to go to the documentation. Right, so this is the full tutorial, right? They'll walk you through it, right? With all the commands you need to do. And this is basically you can basically walk through every single step, and by the end, you'll be able to get something that looks like this. Oh. Yes. Right. So if you want to teach yourself, we have a step-by-step guide with a simple example. And I think he has a repo also. Let's see. Yep, this is the repo, right? So I'm going to go to the repo. XKCD. I think this is it. Oh no. Jupyter Lab _. Okay, Jupyter Lab XKCD, right? This is the full repo of what he ended up doing, so you can go to that and walk yourself through it. And it also even allows you to install it, right? This is again the same formula to install anything. So those are coming along. We also have who writes LaTeX? Does anybody write LaTeX? LaTeX? We have support for LaTeX. That's coming along. So if you're interested in LaTeX, we're also thinking about integration with Git and GitHub. And then we're also thinking about how to be able to do live collaboration so that people who are using Jupyter Lab can write code together. If you want to see a similar version of our talk, we have somebody demoing this on PyData Seattle. So if you look for that, you can find that there. Actually, I can. So those are some additional use cases. Okay, so I'm going to go back. So the reason why Carol and I are here is that community is really important to us, and we really want, you've seen me make a fool of myself again, to try to get you guys involved. We mark issues as that you can start with as a good first issue. You can also do help wanted, right? And any of those, we would love to have your help with. If you want to work on something else, you can definitely try your hand at it. It might not necessarily be as easy to start with, but if you know JavaScript, if you know TypeScript, this repo definitely works for us as a place to contribute. If you have questions, you can use GitHub issues. We have our repo again is GitHub.com/JupyterLab. please let us know if you have any thoughts or any questions or concerns. If you're developing, you can get hold of us on Gitter, right? Did I miss the website? No, here. JupyterLab/JupyterLab. We have a chat room. These are where our developers live and work. So most of us are talking about developing extensions to JupyterLab or writing JupyterLab itself. And then tenemos un label, I don't know how to say label, en español, right? So if you have questions, we even have it in French, right? This is our GitHub Jupyter help. If you want to get involved, please feel free to do that as well. This is our github.com/Jupyter/help. So that's like for general questions that you might have. And then I've just also created a contributor guide. If you have So if you guys just want to contribute and you know Python, or if you have other skills, right, I've written up a contributor guide. And it kind of goes through what the typical skills that are used, right? So if you want to work on Python, we have IPython, Jupyter Hub, and Binder. These are primarily written in Python. Documentation can be written in any of our repos. Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab, IPyWidgets are mostly in JavaScript and TypeScript. If you have background in DevOps, you can work on Jupyter Hub or Binder. And then again, our website, please feel free to work on our website if you have HTML, CSS, any of those kinds of skills. And then we have a contributor guide and a code of conduct. So feel free to get involved that way. Hopefully, I've let you guys see kind of what's on the horizon. I think we have like 15 minutes. So, please feel free again to ask more questions. Any sort of questions about like Project Jupyter or anything, Carol and I are here, and we'd be happy to take your questions. Very common case. If you want to use Jupyter Lab in education, or if you just want to use Jupyter Notebook in education, this project is where you want to go. Right? This is Jupyter Hub. Jupyter Hub is a way to install Jupyter Notebook on your own server so that anybody who want to have access to Jupyter Notebook has access to it. You can also control what is installed in addition. So if you have certain libraries you want to work with, it basically makes it really easy for people to be able to have equal access to computational resources, right? Because not everybody necessarily has the machine of the same quality, but now you can connect to the server and have the same things. It's really popular in education. Many universities are using it. I think our largest installation has 8,000 users. Is that correct, I think? I think at University of California, Berkeley, I think we have about 8,000 users. Don't quote me on that. I'm not great, but that's not.
Right now, we're in the process of building ones that are much larger.
Yeah, so feel free. There are other universities using that. It's also popular in research. Scientists like being able to have, if you have like a high performance cluster and you want everybody to have access to Jupyter Lab, that's another case in which it's being used. So if you want to do science research, it's there. Feel free to contact us or talk to us afterwards if you want to talk.
Do you have a demo for this?
We don't have a demo, but this is a walkthrough of how to install it for yourself.
Okay.
So this website, if you look for 0 to Jupyter Hub, it'll walk through installing it for yourself step by step. So you just want to like just follow the instructions and you'll have it going. Like I did it in like 2 hours.
And what you were using, Binder, is built on top of that.
Yeah. So Binder uses this. So
Yeah, so
It's a live demo.
it's a live demo, yes. But yeah, it should be pretty straightforward, run the Twitter channel.
yeah. And if you wanna contact people about Jupyter Hub, it's gitter.im/JupyterHub/Jupyter, I think.
Jupyter Hub,
Yeah, I think so. Jupyter Hub/Jupyter Hub. Yeah. Any more questions? Please, like, feel free. Yep.
The iPython terminal has access to the system, or it's just restricted to the live directory usually?
You mean your IPython? You mean your IPython console? So when you have your IPython console, you can create it with. I think you can use different kernels with it. So if you want to have a particular environment, you can put it in a different environment, or you can put it with the same workspace as your notebook. So I can let me see if this is still going. Right. Am I still here? Yep, I'm still here. So I can just create a new console, and it's right there. Right, and this console is not connected to anything else. Right, this is just its own thing doing its own thing. Right, so I can. This thing is just running on its own, right? And then you can also create another one that's connected to another workspace. But I mean, if you have, I think we only have one environment on this. But if you had multiple environments, you can pick whatever environment you want to work with of the ones that you have. Yep.
I think you have support for displaying pasta files, and I don't know if you have support as well for other genomic files please.
I think we have not put up other types of genomic files yet, but I mean, hopefully with the cookie cutter and the walkthrough and maybe even the FASTA setup, you'll be able to figure it out. I mean, I know that they built it off of a visualization library, I think that already existed for FASTA or something. They had some sort of thing that they were inspired by. I wasn't developing it. Oh, do you know?
Well, I think a good thing to remember is the Jupyter mailing list is a great place to ask questions like that, because we have a number of people in the biotech genomics field, and it's going to be the community that develops these things beyond FASTA. So they may already exist. So it's worthwhile to ask first, and then we try to document when we find things.
And we can talk in more detail about that, because I think I have some ideas of how you can start figuring that out. Anyone else? Do you want? If you want to take this offline, we can. Everybody, people can come up to me and Carol and ask questions afterwards. And again, thank you for your patience. Yeah. Yep. Oh.
Can I use the current version of Jupyter Lab right now in the workplace? Is it stable enough?
Oh yeah, no, that was the whole thing. It's totally ready, right? If we go to if I go installation, this is the Conda instructions, right? And we have installation instructions in Conda and pip. You can get it ready to go.
Because I've been using it since like version 0.27,
Oh.
and just in case if there's something that breaks it.
Yeah.
Is there any really significant change that's come to V1.0 that is not already on the current version?
I think the big change will just going to be is the stabilization of the API. So. So that, you know, if you're a user, you might not notice anything big on your end. The bigger difference might be just design differences we get from feedback from users. And that's actually another thing that we appreciate. If you have like UX feedback, like, you know, you find something confusing or anything like that, feel free to let us know. Yep.
Is there kind of integration with other communities like the assembly, Apache assembly?
I think those are different, but we're not really necessarily collaborating across notebook projects, but
Oh, Zephyr? No, Zeppelin. You know, we work with different industry partners. The Jupyter Notebook standard is that. It's the communication protocol and the file storage is standard. We do work with Interact and we are working with Spark and the Apache Foundation. So it's less, we're not trying to integrate with Zeppelin, but we're not trying to exclude it either, if that makes sense, because we recognize scientists who use a variety of tools. So, you know, but, you know, there are going to be different flavors, and the key is the user interface on the front end. We see people customizing quite a bit, and it's the notebook protocol and the standard of the messages and things that we think is you know, de facto standard at this point. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if anybody has any more questions, I guess we can, oh.
I have one talk that you find on YouTube about Jupyter Lab.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's a great talk from Strata. There is a talk from PyData Seattle that's showing off our Google Drive extension as well. And then there's also, as I said, we've built, in addition to that, LaTeX extensions as well. So you can kind of see, it's pretty similar to what I'm doing. So you can see another version of that talk online. If you look up on YouTube, you'll find us. Yep. More questions? Okay. Perfect. Oh yeah, no. It's available on all kinds of operating systems. You want to use it on Windows, it works.